There are two secrets to enjoying a proper walk in the rain. The first is to ensure the appropriate attire, of course. Because, as they say, it's never bad weather, just bad clothing. The second is to cultivate a positive attitude towards the rain, and to use another turn of phrase, an attitude of gratitude. For without the rain, nothing would be green and fresh. The plants would wither and die, and the air we breathe would grow dry and dusty. Try to see the rain as the life-giving force that it is, as a delicious freshness that feeds the earth and the gardens and all things good and green. With this in mind, a walk in the rain can become a joy and takes on an entirely different tone. It becomes something to be enjoyed and savoured, rather than something to run and hide from. And if we might add one last point, for it is an important one, especially for our sleep story tonight, and that is that the rain brings us an opportunity to enjoy the outside world with a level of quiet and serenity that is often impossible when it is so very populated by everyone else. It is a chance to have the parks and streets and forests nearly to ourselves. For most people run for cover and prefer to be inside than out when the fat drops begin to fall from the sky. And so, on this rain-splashed afternoon, we shall look to enjoy the normally bustling city of London in a bit of a different light, a calmer one, more tranquil, more peaceful. And we shall, of course, steer far clear of any busy traffic and content ourselves to the quieter side of things. So, let us don our Wellington boots, our cosy sweater and rain slicker, our fuzzy hat and our solid and sturdy umbrella, and go forth to enjoy a deliciously rainy London afternoon. You peek out from under the brim of your umbrella and look up to the sky above. It's a silvery grey sky today, and the rain is falling steadily from the mass overhead, soaking into the green grass of the Kensington Gardens where you find yourself. And, as predicted, you have this particular spot to yourself just now, for you can see no one else out to enjoy the drizzle on this crisp fall afternoon. It's just you and the tall old trees that spread out easily over the lawn and down the gently rolling slopes of this beautiful acreage. The autumn season has turned most of the leaves golden, with bright reds, oranges and yellows filling the branches and carpeting the wet grass below. It's a beautiful feeling to be outside just now, fresh and alive, and you close your eyes to just take it in. The gentle patter of the rain tapping on your umbrella is a soothing and almost hypnotic rhythm. You listen. It's like being safe and dry inside your own private tent. And you hear the drops of rain hitting the upturned leaves and breaking the surface of the puddles with a variety of taps and patters. The air is fresh and cool with moisture, and the air, washed clean, is easy to breathe deeply. So you do. There is only but the slightest of breeze, now and then, lifting in as more of a caress than anything else. And so you remain cozy in your layers, perfectly comfortable and protected. You can smell the pleasant wet of the rain in the grass, and on the little paved path beneath your feet that's now shining with its new slick coat of precipitation. It's an unmistakable smell, earthy, and it calms you somehow. And you take another deep breath of it in through your nose. You notice a rainbow sheen shimmering on the surface of a puddle, the effect of the decaying leaves as they release their plant oils into the water. And you wonder if the sun will come out at all today and bring with it a rainbow in the sky. But for now, it is a delightful drizzle. And as you gaze out over the beautiful scene of this wonderful park, once the private gardens of the royal family, it's as if the world has taken on a different shade, a different character, like listening to a favourite song being played in a different key. London in G minor, perhaps. You see that the trees and the grass have taken on an unusual greenish glow. Perhaps they're celebrating the rain somehow. And this is how they show it. They're drinking deep and feeling vibrant and enjoying the fresh fall day, just as you are. Everything feels intimate and close, and you feel more connected to it all somehow. Perhaps because there is no one else here. It's just you and the life around you, in a green space smack dab in the centre of the great city of London. Yes, London. Cosmopolitan, international, the big smoke. A city so big and so immersed in history that it would be impossible to see and experience all it has to offer in one afternoon. One would need weeks and months to take in all of its architectural grandeur, the 1,000-year-old buildings, the cathedrals and palaces, to visit Trafalgar Square, Piccadilly Circus, Big Ben, to ride the double-decker bus, cross London Bridge, and mind the gap down in the tube, to stroll the leafy suburbs and along the river banks of the old Thames and through the historic neighbourhoods where you might stop to enjoy a pint or a tea in a quaint waterside pub. London, the birthplace of Charles Dickens and Jane Austen, and the legend of Sherlock Holmes. It is the home of kings and queens, and a place where one can take in a play at the Globe Theatre, which once performed Shakespeare when Shakespeare was alive, or admire the great and magnificent museums and galleries, stuffed with antiquities and art gathered from the far reaches of the once great empire where the sun would never set. From the shores of Malay to the teak forests of Burma, to the once new world and its colonies of opportunity. London is both a relic of the past and a forerunner of the future, where the old touches the new. One can hubbub down the streets of the city, the world's richest square mile, and jostle with the suits setting the limits of finance, and the next moment turn the corner onto Bear Pit Lane, where you're reminded that they once kept bears for fighting here in the Middle Ages, or stumble across Knight Rider Lane, where, yes, the chivalrous knights of yore once rode and practised their jousting in metal suits of iron, with a code of conduct and honour that has all but been lost. There's always something going on in London, but on this day for you, all is much more subdued, more quiet. For only the brave souls will come out on a day like this, leaving you be to float through the park like a silent phantom. Kensington Gardens blurs its way into the extensive acreage of Hyde Park. It too an oasis of green in the centre of the city. A formidable one, in fact, where you continue to stroll along in your bubble of peace. You notice a few birds sitting in the hedges, puffed up like fat balls of feathers, and an intrepid little squirrel out collecting horse chestnuts that have started to fall from the trees. You watch it digging a hole to place one of the conkers into it, when it spots you and stops, his two front paws splayed out in front of him, raising his head to look at you. He gives you a curious tilt of the head, as if to say, "Hello, human. Fancy seeing you here," and then twitches off on his merry way. Hyde Park is a delightful place to stroll through on this rain-washed afternoon. Once land belonging to the old monasteries, it was seized by that most famous of kings, King Henry VIII, who turned it into his own private hunting grounds. But not more than 100 years later, another king declared it open to the public to come and enjoy, just as you are now. To stroll and walk the vast expanse of green and admire the trees and to saunter along the lake that runs through the centre of the park. And so, you follow the little gravelly pathway that runs alongside the waterway, which is remarkably free of puddles, watching the splashes made in the water by each and every raindrop that falls. It's as if they jump back up into the air for a moment upon hitting the water, unsure of their new situation, only to fall back down again to join the expanse of the lake, sending little concentric ripples that all merge and blend together and spread out over the surface. You follow the winding path, past old lampposts, even older trees and bushy shrubbery, busy getting their full drink, and past ornate fountains refreshed and overflowing. Water is the theme of this day, and your way takes you through wide open grassy spaces, populated with old oak trees and the occasional willow, with slender wispy branches so long that they splay themselves out on the ground below, no doubt making secret little homes for the birds and squirrels of the park. You come across a family of old and splendid elm trees, standing proudly together, expressing themselves, showing off their full colour, golden. Some of the leaves are such a vibrant yellow that you are compelled to stop and observe them for a while, amazed at the splendid colour. Coming across a bench by the water's edge, you take a moment to stop and just listen to the sound of the rain splashing on the surface of the lake, and to watch the ducks and geese glide effortlessly across the surface. One thing is for certain. These water birds are certainly happy with the downpour and don't for a moment look perturbed in any way. You're kindred spirits on this day. As you look up from under your umbrella on your perch, there on the bench, the sky feels closer somehow, as if the grey, streaked dome of the firmament is trying to make you feel even cosier on this rain-splashed afternoon by drawing itself in, nice and snug, and you feel it, as cosy as can be. You had entertained the idea of continuing along with your walk, through the rest of the park to the stately and grand Wellington Arch, with its glorious statue of the goddess Nike in her chariot. For from there it's but a short jaunt along Constitution Hill to the impressive and famous Buckingham Palace at the top of Pall Mall, snugged in nicely between Green Park and St. James Park. You thought to look upon its massive facade and imagine the comings and goings of the royal family inside, with their multitude of servants and secretaries. But, as we intimated, there is much too much to see in this city of cities for one day, and to try to rush and take it all in with one bite would be a mistake. for then the moments would lose their meaning, harder to savour. And how can one enjoy oneself in such a state? So, you elect to stay here on your quiet little bench in the happily falling rain, safe and secure under your umbrella, your feet dry, your nose a little red. Here it's just you and the ducks and the geese and the occasional passer-by who, like you, is delighting in the serenity of the day, acknowledged between you by a knowing nod of the head. Yes, you will sit and listen to the rain and be contented with the thought of a warm tea upon your return to the indoors. But for now, let it rain.